Hello and welcome everyone to another week of the Confidence Connection Show, where we share stories of confidence from all around the world. Today I have the wonderful Dannielle, who's coming to us live from Adelaide to share all her stories about herself and about confidence. So Dannielle is a kinesiologist, I hope I said that right, naturopath and author. Her holistic approach to women's health addresses not only the physical, but mental, emotional and spiritual well-being too. Dannielle helps women improve their relationship with food and their bodies through one-on-one coaching, group programs, and her book, Quit Stressing About Food. I love that title. And you can find her on Facebook, which she will share later. So tell us, Dannielle, do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background and how you got to be where you are today?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of the work that kind of led me to where I am now is my personal journey with, emotional eating, confidence, body image. And it really was a long journey to get there. And I feel like if I can just help one woman save some time and not struggle for as long as I did, then my work on the world is done. Like that's all that I'm about. So I studied naturopathy first and then went on to become a kinesiologist to work more with the mindset and emotions. And it's just become a really nice holistic combination to work with my clients.
Beautiful. So what made you want to become a naturopath?
It just kind of happened organically. I actually wanted to become a paramedic out of school. And I think I just needed a break between school and uni, that kind of like year 12 burnout. So I took a year off and then really just wanted to get into a helping profession. That was always my goal. Went to along to this open day for naturopathy, and it just made sense. Like I was raised to kind of, if you had a headache, you'd have a glass of water and lay down before you reach for a Panadol or anything. So it just kind of made sense to me to go the more natural and preventative route. Studied that for 4 years and loved it.
Yeah, I love that. I've grown up with a close relationship to my naturopath, and we were always naturopaths before GP. And
yeah,
and it's who would refer us back to the GP when you needed it.
That's right. It's not one or the other. It's just let's try this first. Yeah,
exactly, which is great. So do you want to tell us about your experience with weight and yo-yo dieting and how you came to realize that mindset and emotions are actually a big part of that?
Yeah, I reckon my struggles with weight and like actually wanting to diet probably started around 8 or 9, like pretty young. And looking back, like I didn't even have a weight issue to begin with. It was just, the programming that you kind of pick up from adults around you and other kids, I guess, that just teach you that you should be wanting to change your body and wanting to look different. And just kind of growing up with these messages that, you should constantly be trying to change yourself and look better and, all of that programming. And so it really affected me growing up. And I think it kind of peaked in my teen years, particularly when I got my license and had a job and could go and buy food, because that's when the binge eating started. So I would, completely binge eat. I felt out of control with food. I think every Monday I was trying to, start a diet. And by Thursday I was binge eating. Like it was just a real vicious cycle, and honestly thought that there was something wrong with me, because the only thing that I could find online was you need more willpower, you need more motivation, you need to just push through and you need to just find the guts to do it and stick to it. And I hadn't even considered that it was the diets that were failing me rather than the other way around. I thought it was my fault. So it actually took me a really long time to realize that the diets weren't working. That wasn't my fault. And that there was more to it than willpower and motivation. And so, it was actually while I was studying naturopathy that I was going through this whole journey of binge eating and then trying to figure out what was actually going on and what was the deeper cause of my really unhealthy relationship with food. And I had to start from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think too, people don't realize that's part of the whole marketing of the diets, is that they want you to fail so that you keep signing up and you keep buying the products, because if the diet works and then longer need their system or their program or whatever, then
exactly. Yes, we're lifelong customers because it doesn't work. And I was watching a documentary the other day that said the dieting industry is the only industry that is still thriving on a 98% failure rate. And it's like, how are we still falling for this? Right?
Insane.
I know. Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy.
Mm.
So tell us, what exactly is a kinesiologist for those who don't know what it is? I've heard of it, but I don't actually know about it myself.
Yeah. Kinesiology is so broad, and I think that's why it can be really hard to explain. So the way that I use it is working with the subconscious mind. So if you think about our brain, our mind, we have like the conscious thinking brain, which you use to like think. So you're aware of those thoughts. That's where you can kind of make your conscious decisions and, write lists and make plans and, study and all that kind of stuff. So that's the part that we're aware of, but it's actually only 5% of the decisions and actions and everything. So most of what we're doing is coming from the subconscious. And a lot of the subconscious is formed between the ages of 0 and 7. So between that age, we're like sponges. We're just picking up everything around us. So we kind of grow into adults that are running on programs that we picked up when we were between 0 and 7, most of which we're unaware of. So these beliefs, these fears, these stories, memories are really affecting us in our adult life. But when we're not aware of them, we can feel really out of control with it. And that's kind of what I went through with the emotional eating. I felt like there was something wrong with me because I didn't understand what was going on and what was coming from my subconscious that was driving my behavior. But when I could actually shine a light on it and piece it all together, then I had this sense of self-awareness that gave me the ability to move forward and know that it wasn't something wrong with me. It was just all the stuff stored in my subconscious that I didn't know about. And once I could work with that, then I was kind of in control again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the subconscious is 95% of what we do, our decisions, actions, behaviors. So it's a huge part of our life. But as long as we're unaware of what's in there, then it can be really hard to create change moving forward. So my work as a kinesiologist is really, let's have a look at what's going on in the subconscious that's affecting you now. And if there's beliefs and fears and thoughts in there that we need to change, then we can do that so that you can actually create change in your life or business moving forward.
Yeah, that's awesome, because there is so much repeated thoughts and repeated patterns that we're not aware of that are just stored up in there.
Yeah, and a lot of them are just from, people around us when we were young that, if we stopped and actually shone a light on them, you might not actually want to keep that belief, like Uncle Fred told you that rich people are greedy or bad people, and then you're holding yourself back from creating wealth in your life. And then you can go back and look at that belief and go, I don't want to hold on to that belief anymore, and we can let that go.
Yeah, that's brilliant. There's a saying I like that you can't choose the software, or you can't choose the programming that you're installed with, but you can choose the updates that you choose to install.
I love that. Yes. Yeah. Kinesiology is basically updating. What do you want to keep? What do you want to let go of? Yeah.
Your parent community gave you that initial software when you're up until the age of 7, and now you have control of the updates from there.
Yes, that's such a good explanation.
Yeah. So you say that weight is just a side effect of the other stuff, like your emotions and all that. So do you want to tell us a bit about that and how you approach things?
Yeah. So I honestly believe that your weight is a side effect of, emotional health and physical health. So from a naturopathic perspective, there's so many things that can be going on impacting weight. So it's definitely not just calories in, calories out. That is such an outdated idea. But from an emotional perspective, if we have emotions that are going on, particularly if you tend to emotionally eat and stuff like that, then your weight is a side effect of that emotional eating. If you have beliefs and fears and stories around what it's safe for you to look like or what you should look like, or, I've had clients that feel more vulnerable when they lose weight because their mum or dad or someone in their life has told them that, men are predators, and if you look attractive, they'll be attacking you. And, the programming runs so deep. So it's it's all those subconscious programs that are running in the background that we're not aware of that are actually impacting our weight. And I would say to anyone that's feeling like they're not in control of it or like there's something wrong with them, that it's about their subconscious. It's not that there's something wrong with them. It's not that they don't have enough willpower or motivation. It really is about looking at what's going on at a deeper level. Because I think as women or anyone, but we get so stuck in this cycle of knowing what we need to do to lose weight or knowing what we should be doing and being able to maintain that for a little while and then going off the rails and doing the complete opposite. And that's where we get this idea of there's something wrong with me because I can't do it. And it's like, no, you're just able to push through it for a certain amount of time, and then the subconscious programming kicks in and you revert back to old stories, old beliefs, old patterns. So it really is the driving force.
Agree with this, but I've heard a thing that same with finances, but also with your body, that you have a thermostat that your body just wants to stay at. So you can put on weight and then easily get back to that same weight, or you can lose weight, but then your body quickly gets back to that same weight. It's like your comfortable weight, whatever it is for you, that your body just for some reason wants to hold on to and keep you there.
Yeah, we call it a weight set point, and it really is. And I think from a physical and emotional point of view, that is true. So if you emotionally and mentally feel safe at a certain weight, then your set point is there. But physiologically, there is that parameter as well. And so if you start to lose weight too quickly, your body will actually increase like hunger hormones and stuff like that to get you eating more calories. So yeah, there's definitely that to fight with as well. When I first started out as a naturopath, I really focused on weight loss because that was always what I wanted in my own life, was to lose weight. And as I've evolved through that, through self-acceptance and body love, I now focus on like, we can work with emotional eating and we can work with you accepting and loving your body. And if weight loss occurs as a result of that, then that's great. If it doesn't, that's great as well. It's not about the size. I'm never asking people what the number on the scales is or anything like that anymore. It's really shifted to emotional and mental well-being and just getting people to feel better in their bodies. Sometimes weight loss occurs as a result of that, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Which leads me into my next question, which is to tell us a bit more about your business and how it's different from what's out there and how you're hoping it shifts the perception of body image.
Yeah, so as I said, I don't focus on weight loss. Like, I'll never give out meal plans or anything like that, which I think a lot of people expect from a naturopath. It really is about digging into what's going on in the subconscious, what's going on emotionally, what's going on in your mindset, and how can we work with those things to get you in a better place mentally, emotionally, and physically. And then any weight loss that occurs from that is, meant to happen rather than kind of pushing, trying to force something. So my work is very much about accepting yourself, being really aware of your mindset and the thoughts that you're telling yourself, the things that you're saying about yourself in your mind, and just kind of, I guess, working from the ground up from that point of view. So it's a really holistic approach, but focusing on all the other factors around body image and weight, not just calories.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing your story. So now we're going to talk about confidence. So what does confidence mean to you?
Yeah, I think confidence is really just knowing that you're enough just as you are. It's kind of, for me, it's that understanding that, yeah, I'm totally imperfect and I'm going to stuff up sometimes, and that's okay. I'm just doing my best. But it's showing up in the world, being confident in who you are just as you are, rather than that. Like, I know in the past I've just constantly strived to be someone different because I think that's what I was told that I should do. Whereas confidence is like, this is me here right now, and I might not be the version of myself that I'm aiming to be, but I'm still okay right now, and I'll be okay every step of the way.
That's an awesome explanation. I love that. So how do you help people build their confidence in themselves?
I think when I look at children, and I have a young daughter myself, I just think of them as being so confident, like she's 15 months and she's not walking around wondering if her arms look okay or if her legs are good enough to walk, or, she's just confident in who she is. And when it comes to building confidence as an adult, I think it's actually about remembering our confidence. So it's about stripping back and getting rid of anything throughout your life that's told you not to be confident and that you're not good enough just as you are. So going back to the subconscious, that's where I really love the kinesiology, because we can go, okay, you know, we can track back in time and what memory, what story, what belief, what fear is there that's telling you that you're not good enough just as you are. And let's work with that so that we can layer by layer just kind of peel back and get you back to your, you know, original self that you were as a child when you believed in yourself and loved yourself just as you are. I think it's about remembering confidence rather than creating it.
That is so true. And that just reminds me of my friend shared a story this week. Her daughter's just turned 1 and she's just learned how to stand. And it's, on her story, the video of her daughter standing up and like just clapping for herself. And then she falls back down. And she pulls herself back up. She's, oh my gosh, I'm just clapping. And what are the things she's clapping for? And I'm like, no, we need to remember to do that.
Yes.
How often we'd try to stand up now and we'd fall over and we'd just cry about it and like not try stand up again because we're failures or whatever. And it's remembering to, no, we've stood up once, we can do it again. Now clap for yourself because you managed to stand up. Like, you've got this, you're on the right track. And I just thought it was just a beautiful video of stand up, clap for yourself, even if you fall down again.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I think, children can really be our teachers in those moments, because it's like, we've forgotten to cheer ourselves on and we've learnt to beat ourselves up when we fall down.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what would you say to someone who's wanting to build their confidence but they don't know where to start?
I think for me, the biggest starting point is actually just being aware of your inner thoughts. So if you're starting on a conscious level, you know, what words are you using to talk to yourself, to talk about yourself? What are your thoughts when you look in the mirror? What do you say to yourself when things aren't going right? You know, those kind of thoughts. And when you start becoming aware of the way that you're talking to yourself and about yourself, that self-awareness is really the first step. And then you can start to gently change that. So a really good question when you do start to become aware of what you're saying to yourself, you can ask yourself, would I say this to my child? Would I say this to my best friend? Would I say this to my mother? And it just reframes that to show you how harsh we are on ourselves. Because as I said, it's not about creating confidence, it's about remembering confidence. So it's about getting rid of all those thoughts and horrible things that you're telling yourself that you have kind of learnt over your lifetime is okay to tell yourself, but start looking at those and realizing that you wouldn't talk to anyone else that way. So don't talk to yourself that way. And you can start to really build that confidence from within you when you start to heal that relationship with yourself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So what's something you know now that you wish that you knew when you were younger?
When I was younger, I was kind of striving for goals. Like I was just so goal orientated. It was just like checking this off and doing this. And like I've found old life plans in my computer, and it's just like, oh my God, like I actually tried to plan out my whole life. And I was always stressing that things wouldn't work out and that there wasn't enough time. And I would just go back and tell my younger self everything always works out, even when it doesn't feel like it will in the moment. It always works out, and there is plenty of time. Do not stress about time.
So true. And I think we can set goals and get so focused on how we're going to achieve that goal, and it's almost like you've got to let go. You don't actually know how. If you know how you're going to achieve that goal, it's not really a goal because you know how to do it. You should set something and not know how to get there, and kind of, you don't. Otherwise, you put expectations on yourself, and you're like, if there's a way you find a new path to achieve your goal, and that's not the path you thought you were going to take, that can hold you back instead of just being open to all the paths that might lead you there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think goal setting is kind of this thing like, did you achieve it? Yes, tick, good girl. Did you not? Okay, you fail, you're bad. And that's when we don't fall, we don't stand back up after falling down. So it's way more powerful to focus on behavior than outcomes, because we can't control outcomes anyway.
Yeah, that's so true. So what's the best piece of advice you've been given, or your favorite quote to live by?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact quote, but I remember getting this piece of advice when I was kind of in the throes of like my emotional eating, body image issues, like probably at one of the heights of it. And it was something along the lines of, you know, we're so worried about what everyone else is thinking about us, but everyone else is so worried about what we're thinking of them that they're too busy to think about us. So just be yourself. And you know, like it's just kind of this vicious cycle. And I was just like, oh, yeah, if I'm this worried about what everyone's thinking of me, but they're just as worried, then they're not even thinking about me. So I might as well just not worry about it.
Yeah, everyone's way too busy, focused on themselves.
Yes, literally. And it just gave me that freedom.
Yeah. And there's a quote I like to do with that. That's, I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am what I think you think I am.
Mm-hmm.
Really deep, but it's all that you project what you think other people are thinking of you.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And it takes a long time to really believe all that stuff when you've been programmed to the opposite from a young age, but it's so powerful when you get there.
Yeah, for sure. So have you got a favorite book or podcast, inspirational about confidence that you could recommend?
Yeah, I mean, favorite is I'd find it hard to pick one favorite, but a book that I love is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. I don't know if you've come across that one.
I haven't really heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically probably the reason that I love it is it's a little bit about the subconscious. So it's about these limiting beliefs that we kind of pick up and take on to be true about ourselves, and analyzing those as, you know, are they true or are they not? And how are they holding me back in my life? So I think he goes through 5 main limiting beliefs that people tend to kind of grasp onto and form as part of their identity. And it was really eye-opening for me to just kind of hear the stories of his clients and how they've formed these beliefs about themselves and how they're affecting them now. And when you can kind of change those beliefs about yourself, your whole life can change as a result of that. So that is definitely up there with one of my favorites.
That's awesome. And have you got any favorite people you like to follow online?
Yeah, again, favorite is really hard, but probably the first person that came to mind is Victoria Garrick on Instagram. She is just so real, super body positive, and yeah, just a really inspiring, authentic, imperfect human to follow. I always find that her posts make me feel really good after reading them, rather than, you know, some people kind of make you feel, you know, I never have to compare myself to Victoria because she's always real and she just shares it as it is. And I think that's really refreshing online.
That's so awesome. But where can people find you and connect with you, and maybe tell us a bit about the book that people might want to go check out?
Yeah, so on Facebook and Instagram, it's Dannielle.Illingworth. And my book, Quit Stressing About Food, is really about healing your relationship with food. So changing the way that you view it and use it, you know, not labeling it good and bad, not doing diets and not doing that all or nothing approach to food, just really nourishing your body and using it as a form of self-care. It's about body image, and it goes into my story and my struggles with body image and how I overcame that. So it's really designed for those people that feel like food and their body and weight is just consuming their life. And this book is designed to just help kind of dispel all that worry and bring them back to a place of just enjoying food again and being able to accept their body as it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. And have you got any final words or advice you'd like to share before we go?
I don't know. I've had so much fun on this podcast. I really love the programming and updates quote that you did. I really need to share that more. That's great. But yeah, just thank you for doing this show. I think it's so important that people are exposed to this information and can actually help heal their relationship with themselves, because honestly, when we're in, you know, the world is pretty crazy at the moment, and I think all change has to start with us as individuals before we can start creating change on the planet. So shows like this are so important. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome, and thanks for joining us and being here.
Yeah.
that's what I love about this, is that confidence is so important, but there's so many different angles and aspects to it. You know, talk about mindset, your relationship with food helps build your confidence. Like, there's just so many different aspects to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Pick what relates to you and start your journey of getting outside your comfort zone and building your confidence. So
yeah,
thanks so much for joining us, and I will thanks to everyone who's watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye guys.